Today we're looking at anti-aging skincare routines from around the web, except the more you watch this video, the more insane they get. Let's be real here. Youth, or the appearance of youth, is currency. Whether we like it or not, we are getting judged for the way that we look. As a matter of fact, some of y'all are judging me right now. Judging asses. And it can affect everything from employment to the money you make. Studies have shown that people who are more conventionally attractive are more likely to get hired, get promoted, and get paid more. You know, it can also affect your romantic life and how people treat you. How far are you willing to go to look more youthful? For some of the people we are about to watch, the limit does not exist. So today we're gonna watch some anti-aging routines, and you know, the more we watch, the more intense they get, but that's not always gonna be a bad thing, so let's go.
The first thing people say to me when I tell them that I get tox and injectables is, you don't need it. Well, that's because I get it. I don't look like I need it because I get it. This photo here was from 2016. I was 36. I am 44 years old in this photo.
You know, I think we are so used to seeing bad work and work that is very obvious that, we shy away from doing something that, a couple little tweaks here and there might help us to look more refreshed, more energized, be more confident. Good work will look like you don't need to get anything done. As she just stated from the video that we watched, she doesn't look like she needs it because she gets it done. I got tear trough filler for the first time in 2018, and that little bit of filler took like damn near a decade off my face, and I didn't look done.
How old do I look? Be honest, you ain't gonna hurt my feelings. In fact, wait, this ring light is a little forgiving. Now, how old do I look? Now look at this. How old do I look here? Look at this difference with no ring light. And you know what it is? Of course, it's Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firmex Temporary Face Tightener.
So that wasn't intense in the fact that she did a lot to get that result, but there was a huge difference there. So the product that she used here is the Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firmex Temporary Face Tightener. So I've used the eye version of this product. I haven't used the face version of the product. The way products like this work is that they use a combination of firm forming agents, silicate, and tightening polymers to create an immediate, though temporary, lifting and smoothing effect on the skin. They might also include other ingredients in them that can help, benefit the skin over time. However, that lifting, that smoothing, that's gonna be temporary. Now, from personal experience and from, what I've seen from like reviews and whatnot, there might be a slight learning curve when you're using a product like this because you have to use the right amount and the right tools, because if you use too much, you're gonna get a white residue. If you don't use enough, you might not see any results. So you kind of have to play around with it. I initially did a campaign with them for the temporary eye tightener product. And while, I don't have big old bags underneath my eyes, I do have fine lines and wrinkles, but I put the product on and I'm like, looking and I'm like, I don't see a difference. And I was about to be like, PT Aura, we might have to cut this campaign because I'm not seeing anything. But then when I looked back at the footage, I was like, oh, wait a minute. That thing temporarily erased the fine lines and wrinkles underneath my eyes. Now y'all all right? Because we're about to move up to another level.
Okay, we are done. So now we're just going to take the top off of your tube. It just comes right off. Sit it in your test tube stand and use your pipette to transfer it into the second tube because we're gonna do another spin in the centrifuge. Our second spin, we're gonna do it at 2000 for 10 minutes. We've done our second spin. So we want to get all of this kind of above. You see where it's kind of cloudy? That's the buffy coat. So you don't really want to use that. You just want to use this dark yellow PRP that's above it. The PRP and X is onto my skin. Since your forehead is more of a bony area, you want to start at a 0.25 depth. I've moved on to my cheek. My numbing has basically completely worn off because I didn't account for the fact that I was filming. And so it's gonna take me a little bit longer to prep everything.
All right, y'all, Bree is next level. Like, And let me give you a big warning here. Y'all are not like Bree. Bree looks as if Bree has done intense research, has some sort of aesthetics background, perhaps, or she just learned a lot. And it seems as if Bree knows what she's doing. Now, am I gonna make the assumption that you watching this video do not know what you're doing? More than likely. We are all not like Bree. Some of us could sneeze and wind up in the ER. So please save the RF microneedling and the PRP and all that other stuff. Well, I doubt that you'd be able to do RF microneedling at home because I don't know that you would have the radio frequency device. But I know some people do like to do at-home microneedling. Please save that kind of stuff for the pros. Please, 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 please. Because if you mess up because you're trying to save a couple of bucks, do you know it could wind up costing you way more to get something wrong fixed than it was to just save up the money and go to a well-vetted pro who knows what they're doing when it comes to skin of color and has their receipts. All right, now I took y'all for a ride there. We kind of, so I just want to do a temperature check and maybe, you know, give you a little palate cleanser in between, because if you thought that was intense, we about to go way up. But however, if you were looking for a simple yet effective anti-aging routine, and then you still get the guidance of a licensed dermatology provider, not to mention adapt a healthy relationship when it comes with aging. Not to say that, you know, these aren't healthy, but, you know, sometimes people get carried away. Check out Agency, and shout out to Agency for partnering with me on this video. I don't know, I felt like I should put the glasses on because we about to talk about, you know, products and whatnot, but anyway. Agency offers custom prescription formulas to help you with things like texture, fine lines and wrinkles, dark spots. Now, let me tell you, there are levels when it comes to dark spots. The ones that you get right away and you've had them like 3 months or less, you know, things over the counter could really help with that. But the older dark spots, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, you know, that sort of thing, there are levels to this, which I go into depth in this video here. However, let's focus and stay here. You can watch that later. When you have these next level type of dark spots, which by the way, can be more prevalent as we age, you need a little more than what you can just buy at the store. You can get that with Agency either through their Future formula or their dark spot formula. As we age, our skin's natural regeneration process, this is the process by which it makes new juicy skin cells, it starts to slow down as we age, you know? That means that, you know, yesterday's skin is probably still yesterday's skin. Next week's skin, probably still last week's skin, you know, like that kind of thing. But because this is slowing down, the skin's natural regeneration process, the skin's natural exfoliation process as well, slows down, which means dead skin cells and excess pigment don't shed as quickly as they once did. And that makes hyperpigmentation, dark spots, melasma, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation stick around a little longer and look more pronounced. Now, that slowing of the skin's regeneration process can also mean that you're seeing more texture, fine lines, wrinkles, roughness, uneven texture, just trying to take over. Were you just trying to be sitting there, you know, looking all pretty, and here come the, it happens. And like I just said, sometimes the products that we buy that you can just get in the store, the drugstore, department store, specialty store, whatever, sometimes that's not enough to cover things like these older, stubborn dark spots. And usually, like I said, there's levels to this. Usually the next level is a prescription cream that requires you to find a doctor, then you gotta make a copay, then you gotta drive to the doctor, With Agency, you can get custom prescription formulas without even having to leave your house. So with Agency, you take a skin quiz, you take pictures of your skin, you send that over, and a licensed dermatology provider is going to look it over and determine which active ingredients will need to go into your custom prescription formula to help your skin out. And it's not one of those situations where they're like, all right, here you go, psh, beat it. If you have further follow-up questions, like you're like, okay, what do I use this with? What time do I use this with? You can easily go into your Agency portal, and a lot of that stuff is already listed for you. But if you have additional questions, you can send them a message and they'll get back to you. Now, you might be like, whew, that sounds expensive, but believe it or not, the price of the products that you would get at Agency are about the same price as some of these products that you'll buy in like a specialty store, except the products at the specialty store might not be what you need, might not be be at that level that you need. I've been using the Agency Future formula for about 2 years now. Now, my concern is basically to preserve and protect, because I just want to stay as, snatched as long as possible, you know what I'm saying? So my custom prescription formula contains 0.7 tretinoin. Tretinoin is a gold standard ingredient with long receipts. It's been tested for its efficacy in helping with things like roughness, uneven texture, fine lines and wrinkles, uneven skin tone, and it's amazing in an anti-aging skincare routine. Now, I know some of y'all don't like the word anti-aging, but it's like when I say it, that's what people know what I'm talking about. Like if I said well-aging, people might be like, what you talking about? Let me know in the comments what you would prefer to use, anti-aging, well-aging, or something else, because I just feel like anti-aging is, people know directly that's what I'm talking about. But my formula also contains, in addition to the 0.7% tretinoin, 1% dexpanthenol, which is going to help to hydrate, 5% tranexamic acid, which helps with evening the skin tone, 4% niacinamide. Niacinamide is our friendly skincare ingredient that does so much. It can help with dry skin, it can help with oily skin, it can help protect the skin's barrier, it can help protect the skin against, all of the gunk that tries to come for it throughout the day. So that's what's in my custom formula. What's in yours is gonna obviously be unique to you and your needs, and after you've had your consultation with your agency licensed dermatology provider. You can scan this QR code here or check out the link in my description box to get a special offer on your first box with Agency. Thanks again to Agency for partnering with me in this video. All right, y'all ready? I mean, you can hide out in that Agency link, in the description and, click on that and, scroll through that if you're not ready yet. I'll give you a minute, but we're about to get next level here. Y'all said you were ready. Okay. Brian Johnson spends about $2 million every year attempting to reverse his aging process and to live to be 120 plus years old. And he might have something to what he's doing. Now, his routine is so intense and so long that I'm just gonna summarize it for you because it would make the video so long and then I would probably get a copyright claim, so I'll just condense it for you. And I'm not gonna lie, as extreme as this sounds, there's some stuff in his routine and I'm like, I might wanna do that. So he gets up between 4:30 and 6 a.m. every morning on his own without an alarm. That alone is quite impressive to me, at least. Then he checks his body temperature. He stands in front of a UV lamp. Then at one point he took like 100 supplements, but I saw on TikTok that now instead of taking all of those supplements, he's made some sort of like super drink that I'm pretty sure he sells. Then he weighs himself. Now mind you, these are things he does every day. Well, he says he does every day. Actually, I ain't even gonna deny or question the fact that he does this every day. Don't he look like he is this intense? This is what he does. Then he does blue light therapy for acne. Then he does red light therapy for hair loss. Then he meditates. He does his food prep. And then he works out. Now, mind you, this is all in the morning. Now, he's doing all of this while he and his team are taking extensive measurements of his progress. Like, they're testing his urine, his excrement, like, constantly looking at his muscle mass and his fat, it's intense. And I didn't even mention the part where he injects his son's blood into himself. Yes. His son's blood into himself. His goal is to decrease yearly aging to 7 to 8 months. So basically, that means that for every year that, you and I age, he's only aging on average like 7 months, which is like, okay, whoop-de-doo, Brian Johnson. However, when you do the math, over a 10-year period, while we're all 10 years older biologically, he's only aged about 5.83 years. Now, he says himself that he doesn't do all of this so that people can copy his routine. And to be quite honest, like, that's a you thing if you try to copy every single thing that this man is doing. But he just hopes that, maybe folks can get some inspiration from something and then like implement that into their daily routines. Now, because people messy as hell. And maybe I'm a little messy too because I was reading the comments, but he's 46 years old and people, like, one of the most common things that I've seen in his comments are people being like, dude looks 46 and da-da-da-da. He looks really good, I would say. He's got great muscle mass, but his biological age, although his, chronological age is 46, his biological age is 18. 18. So, like, while y'all in the comments, and I'm reading the comments, joking on this man about, ooh, dude, you look 46 or you look older than 46 or whatever, joke's on you because on the inside, he's 18. Now, I ain't doing all of that stuff that he did, but I did clock a couple of things and I'm like, I might do that. But I'm thinking about incorporating that UV light, especially in the winter, because in the winter time, the winter be having me down bad, y'all. Bad. And I think the UV light would help immensely with my mood. And the funny thing is, I said I was gonna get a UV light like 2 years ago, and I keep like forgetting to look into it. And then now that I'm mentioning it, we already did the daylight savings, so like I don't need it now. So here I go procrastinating again. Another thing that I saw that he did that I would like to incorporate is I would like to meditate in the morning. Like I feel like I want a morning routine. Basically what I do now is I wake up gasping for air because my retainer makes my mouth feel so dry. I have been forgetting to run my humidifier, so I do need to remember to do that. And then I just, wake up, brush my teeth, make breakfast, shower, do my skincare routine, and then, depending on what day it is, I go to the gym. But I feel like I want to do like something like maybe like, and the meditation doesn't even have to be long. It could be just like a short prayer. Thank you, God, for everything that you're doing for me. Thank you for what you're gonna do for me in the future, and that kind of thing. Like, add it into the routine so that my morning routines don't feel like. Now I'm already doing the red light therapy. I have a mask that I wear on my face. I'm starting to wear an eye one because I thought that the face mask would have been enough to address, but I'm like, let me try this eye mask. And then I have a neck and chest mask, which gave me some amazing results. And I talk all about the science of red light therapy. Like, is it BS? Are you gonna get hyperpigmentation? But also, damn, look what it did to snatch my neck. You can check that out in this video right here. P.S. We now have a membership on the channel called the Skinsistency Club, where you and your fellow skincare enthusiasts are going to share tips. We're going to have challenges to help you stay more consistent with your skincare routine. It's going to be quite similar to what we did back in January and February, where we had those weekly challenges. I just need more members, because otherwise it'd be like me and the 3 amazing founding members who join right away. We could use a couple more, y'all, because the more the merrier. So click the join button, and I'll see you in my next video.